at Sharp Cheddar Green Bay.
What?
With football and beer.
The land on the hill.
Cheers, boys.
Fuck the Bears.
Crack your beers.
Oh, my God.
So stay sharp.
Go Pack, go.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the fourth installment of Sharp Cheddar, your football podcast, your football and beer podcast, recording live from Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Sharp Cheddar GB and on YouTube at Sharp Cheddar Green Bay. I'm Omar, and I've got Hank, Matt, and Joe here with me, virtually, of course, again, because we're still in quarantine, except for Joe because he escaped somehow to Arizona. But all right, so we've got some new things to talk about, a lot of bullshitting to do today. But first off, we're going to start with what beers we're drinking. So, cheers, guys, crack them. Woo!
Cheers.
So,
Cheers.
Last week I was paying homage to one of my favorite breweries in Wisconsin, if not my favorite brewery in Wisconsin. But this week I'm going to pay tribute to the city that I now live and love a lot. So I'm drinking some DC Brau.
Nice.
Public Pale Ale. It's delicious.
Public Pale Ale from the public sector.
Very nice.
Sector employee here, man.
I'm going with in my cheese head koozie. I got some Miller Lite, in part because I drank all of the spotted cow that I smuggled back from Wisconsin. So New Glarus, hit me up, and I'll get you back.
Nice. Yeah, guys, Lil G coming at you live from the desert. Here, drinking my usual favorite non-game day Miller Lite. Salud.
I got this spotted cow thanks to Hank, but I also want to point out that as we keep going through these, we're going to keep track of our DraftKings because last year, Omar thinks he's into analytics and everything, but he actually sucks at DraftKings. I'm curious how he does this year. So everyone stay tuned to that to see if they actually think he's realistic with this or not, but just had to point that out.
I actually won my fantasy league last year. It paid my bartender.
Yeah, nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, that's true.
Fair enough.
Cool. So let's get into it. First question, boys. Let's talk a little Devontae Tay Adams here. So per sports books out there, they have him expected to get 9.5 touchdowns according to Fox Bet. Over under, guys. What are we thinking? And I'll start it off. So I'm actually going to go on the under. I think he's going to be watched a lot more in the red zone than he was in previous years. I think he's going to get a shit ton of yards, shit ton of receptions again. But I think the touchdowns are going to go to Jace. I think he's going to play a big part in that. We're going to run the football a little bit more in the red zone. Doesn't mean he's going to have a bad year. I think Tay is going to actually crush it. But I think I'm going to take under, have him at about 8 touchdowns.
You know what? I think I'm going to agree with Matt on that one. I'm going to go the under, and I'm going to do it for a different perspective here. I think he's going to get the under out of my own desire to see more guys around him get more touchdowns. I see Chase get some more touchdowns. I want to see Aquarius, our boy, Equinamius, whatever. Well, we want to see Equinamius come back and be a big contributor. I want to see Lazard get a ton of touchdowns, and that will naturally take some away from Devontae. I think he's going to have a big year too, but I'm going to go the under.
All right, well, I'm going to say that you guys in the Vegas statisticians are being baby back bitches. Devontae's definitely going over. I think largely because kind of what you were saying, the love is going to be shared, which means people can't just double cover Devontae every time he gets near the end zone. So I think he's going to have a lot more single coverage because guys like Jace and Lazard are going to step up and be the target and the cover that he needs so that he'll get a lot of one-on-one and be able to just snag all those tutties.
I think you meant Laser D, but I heard you. Yep.
Laser D. Yeah, no, I like those takes. I'm going to stick with Hank, though, and go over. Devontae Adams, I think he's a top 5 wide receiver. He's been so unlucky in the last couple of years, though, coming up so short from the 1,000-yard mark. Would love to see him break that this year.
He broke 1,000 yards 2 years ago.
Did he? I thought it was like 900.
Nah, man. He had 2 years ago, he had 1,300 yards.
I think universally he is a top 5 wide receiver, by the way, but I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's obviously going to be continue to be our number one guy for Aaron. But I think he's going to, Rodgers is going to spread the ball out like you're saying. I'd love to see some of those wide out threes become WR2s throughout the season and step up into bigger roles. But I'll go over with Hank.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
All righty, guys. Let's get these quarters done real quick once, eh? The first quarter topic going to be our initial response to the media's first opportunity since the draft to talk to Aaron Rodgers and head coach Matt LaFleur. There's been a lot of chatter on this Twitter sphere. Hank, I know you're monitoring those vibes. But people are just, and all sorts of buddies of mine and fans that aren't Packer fans coming out saying that Aaron was being a little bitch and saying that he'd play for another team. And I'm just going to set the record straight. It's completely bullshit. If you listen to the press conference, which you should on Packers.com or whatever the hell it is, it's totally out of context. Not what he was talking about. He said he was surprised, which, yes, we all were surprised in the Jordan Love pick. He, quote, said he wasn't thrilled, but he understands the business of football. I think all this is the media being the media, Aaron being Aaron. He handled it in the most Aaron way possible. He's been nothing but transparent with the fan base. And I think we need to take his message of RELAX to heart here. Matt, I know thoughts here. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I listened to the full 45 minutes of it, and I was kind of surprised of the takes the media had towards it compared to when I listened to it. I think he had a really good summary for our entire team and kind of is starting to see the big picture with everything. I think you could really see his love for Mercedes Lewis. I think it was very evident that he wanted Mercedes Lewis, and he was like, after all of this, I got to get my guy back for locker room, having another big veteran like that, which I think we've kind of speculated of the impact Lewis has had, but that kind of brought it to fruition for myself of a tight end who's you're not going to see the production or the X and O's, and he's not going to play over probably like 30% of snaps, but between the locker room and everything else, that's a big deal. I like that. I liked him talking about Jamal Williams in his Instagram videos. His first wide receiver he mentions was Laser D. I think that says a lot, too, about how he looks at our receivers group and who he's actually looking for to step up. And I think he's ready for competition. I don't think he's actually had competition in the quarterback room, and I don't think this is competition in the quarterback room. But I think internally, I think he is like a Michael Jordan, who we're going to talk about here in the documentary. But I think he has that internal, I need to be the fucking best. We brought in Jordan Love. He needs to show it, and I think it's going to drive him, actually. I think that's his personality.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, I agree with absolutely everything that you just said. I mean, when I listened to this thing, I mean, it was overwhelmingly positive. I mean, he praised Laser D. He praised EQ or Aquarius or Equinamius or whatever.
Age of Aquarius.
He praised MVS. He praised Jake Kumaro, Mercedes Lewis. He praised Jace. Like
Laser D.
In past years, he is. I mean, what was it? Last year, he was talking about how the receivers were not even stepping up. So he was criticizing his players. Now he is literally praising the entire receiving corps, including the tight ends. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But one of the things that really stood out to me, he was talking about the coaching staff. So he was talking about how Nathaniel Hackett was starting to be really creative in what he's starting to do with like the play installations and things like that. And the way he was talking about his relationship with the offensive coordinator, that's not something that we have heard in a long time. Aaron Rodgers talking about his relationship with the head coaches, whether it's Mike McCarthy or Matt LaFleur. But this is the first time, at least for me, that I've actually noticed him talking about the offensive coordinator. And he's saying he's had, great leadership. I enjoy his sense of humor. I think that was a direct quote. Like, his sense of humor when we're going through this process has been great. I mean, it was an overwhelmingly good vibe.
Yeah.
I agree with Matt and Joe in that it seems like the media was just blowing this up.
You're agreeing with me too? Wow.
I know, it's crazy. I hardly ever agree with Joe's baby.
I'll remember that. We definitely are saving this no matter what.
Both sides of the aisle here, Omar. Look at this bipartisan.
Hank?
Yeah. So my thoughts to this press conference are basically that the fake news sports media can shove it. I mean, seriously, you listen to his actual words, and he's like, yeah, I was surprised by the pick. He wasn't thrilled, sure, but they then turned those two snippets into him basically saying, yeah, I'm definitely leaving Green Bay next year. Now there are all these articles about trades. Like, they're just bored shitless without having actual sports to talk about, which is why this has turned into some story that it actually shouldn't be. I mean, it's honestly disgusting that they're just throwing his name out there and making shit up as clickbait. I think it's unprofessional, and coming from us, like the most professional of sports broadcasters as of 3 weeks ago. So to my colleagues, please keep Aaron Rodgers' name out of your dirty mouth.
Keep my name out your mouth.
I remember when I initially was about to listen to that, I had a lot of preconceived notions that it was going to be a real nasty interview and everything else. And I listened, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't think it was what he said. I was like, all right, I kind of expected him to feel that way. I didn't think that he said anything overly controversial. And then I go over to Twitter and see the headlines that are coming from it. And I'm like, did you guys watch the same press conference that I did? Because I got none of that.
How many jokes have you gotten from buddies being like, oh, did you hear that the Patriots fucking traded for Aaron Rodgers? I've heard that like a dozen times.
Oh, yeah.
I also like the balls on Aaron during the interview to be like, hey, whoever's phone is beeping, like, turn that shit off. And then he just keep going on his rant. Like, let's go, man. Yeah, you tell him you're doing this shit. Everyone's on Zoom. Like, let's go.
This is the exact kind of thing that he takes as fuel, like you were saying, Matt. Like, when in the past, when people have written him or the team off, that's when he's come up with the run the table and the relax. And I think that that's going to be what we have this year is like, relax. You have all of the media just talking shit about the Packers, about the wide receivers, about the entire organization. And I think they're going to use it as a galvanizing issue and come out stronger than ever. And
except us, are we media now? Or are we considered media? How does that work?
Yeah, let's be media. Let's play media.
Sure. Yeah, we're media. So they're gonna use us to leak the pro Packers stories. So if anyone wants to send us leaks, our DMs are open. But on that note about whether or not we're going to use this as a galvanizing moment, like pick it up, or if it's the end of the Packers as we know it, like the rest of the media would like to make you believe. Sportsline and CBS Sports recently, rolling into Q2, they recently ran some simulations and they released their NFC playoff picture odds for 2020. And they are awful.
Atrocious.
So the top of the pack, San Francisco is number 1 at 90.4. New Orleans is 2 at 85.3. Minnesota's in third place in their NFC predictions at 66.4% chance of making the playoffs. And then you got Seattle at 4, Dallas at 5, Philly at 6, Tampa at 7, LA at 8, Chicago at 9. And we are supposedly number 10, sandwiched between Chicago and Detroit. We are, according to Sportsline, we have a 38.5% chance of making the playoffs, which is 4.2% worse than Chicago. It's despicable. I think I saw them try to justify it on Twitter too. They were basically like, oh, well, Aaron Rodgers is over the hill. And last year they really only played like a 9-7 team, whereas the Vikings played like a much better team, and they only lost Diggs and replaced him with Justin Jefferson, whereas the Packers got worse. And I'm like, that's a load of shit. Until they can prove me otherwise, they're still the Packers are still the team to beat. I mean, we still have Aaron Rodgers. The reason that they are claiming, they played like a 9-7 team is because we had close games. But what matters is who wins. It's not about how close your games are. It's the records. And we won those. We had Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest quarterback to ever play the game of football. And he finds ways to win those games. Matt LaFleur, as a rookie head coach, has been tested more than probably any other rookie head coach ever. And he came out victorious in all of those close games. That is spectacular. That's what always bit us in the ass before with McCarthy, is that we would get into those close games and, we'd win in blowouts in the other ones, but we'd lose those close games. Whereas LaFleur found ways to win those games.
That's a good point.
I had somebody at work who actually pointed out Carson Wentz had actually more fourth quarter comebacks. And I go, well, Aaron Rodgers didn't have them because we were winning in the fourth quarter. And then we held those leads because we had a really good record. So we're getting punished for that? Come on.
Right. It's ridiculous.
We're historically the team that goes out in the first quarter and scores 4 touchdowns right away. That's what we did in 2011, 2012, 2013. But in addition to those playoff odds that Hank, you mentioned, I saw some ridiculous NFL simulation that the Bucs were undefeated through week 8. It's what? Like you said, they get a geriatric quarterback and a retired tight end, and all of a sudden they're Super Bowl contenders. Anyways, I don't think anyone pays attention to any of this fucking bullshit. I welcome everyone continuing to discount the Packers, our chances. They're undercutting Rodgers. All of a sudden, we're way worse. Fuck them. Let them underestimate us again.
Fuck them.
We'll win ugly like we did last year in 2019. Win ugly was kind of the slogan Aaron Rodgers was going with. And we'll win ugly all the way to the Super Bowl this year in 2020.
Honestly, I don't think we're going to have to win ugly because I think people are sleeping on us. I think we're going to be better than people are giving us credit for. Last year, we had a new system. We had a new coach. We had a lot of pieces. Half our defense was new last year. So there was a lot of shit changing that we had to figure out. This year, we have those guys coming back. And honestly, it's kind of exciting that all of our playmakers aren't new guys this year. And we don't have to rely on new coaches that we don't know anything about. I'm ready for this year because I think we're going to be substantially better than last year.
I just don't know how anyone can honestly say the Bears will finish better than us. Take out all of the other bullshit. I can't see it, and I'm willing, if anyone's listening to this, to bet any Bears fan, I will wear a Chicago Bears jersey for an entire day if the Bears, which would fucking kill me. I hate the goddamn Bears.
24 hours?
Kill me. I would wear the Bears jersey for an entire day if they finish better than us. If any Bears fan will take the opposite bet. That's fucking ridiculous for the Bears to be on that list better than us. Take all those teams out. That's fucking bullshit. Will never happen. Hopefully that's bulletin board material for the entire team the entire year. Because I know for me, it got me fucking riled up. I completely forgot about this until I looked at it again. This is crazy. That's fucking crazy. The Bears are going to be fucking dog shit again.
And the Lions being the team right behind us on our heels? Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Lions' odd or their percentage of making the playoffs is pretty far below. Looking at this, it looks like a 16.5% drop off. But first off, we throw around the word simulation quite a few times here.
What do your analytics say, Omar?
Whoa! I mean, I haven't run any analytics, but I am pretty sure I'm the only person here who actually knows how the math behind the simulation works. And
True.
In order to run a simulation, the simulation is only going to be as good as the numbers that you put into the simulation or the distributions that you assume. And to assume that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to have almost a 60% chance of making the playoffs, when you're really running on, data from previous Tampa Bay Buccaneers seasons, Tom Brady has not played in this offense. They're not having an offseason program. What data do you have to say that he's going to be the savior of the franchise that has gone 7-9 in how many straight years? I just don't see it. Traditionally, we always see some teams kind of creep out of nowhere. Last year it was the Niners. They went from, one of the picking second in the draft, making the Super Bowl. The year before that, that the Bears came out of nowhere. I hate to say it, but they were the team that kind of surprised everyone. The year before that, the Eagles went on their magical run. So, I can buy that you assume that there's going to be some other team that makes the playoffs that nobody sees coming. But to just, the whole concept of simulating seasons is
bullshit.
Like if you have an intact team, like simulating the Niners, I can see it. Simulating the New Orleans Saints, I can see it.
Yeah.
But, to just come in here and try to tell me that Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to kind of storm through just because they got one new piece and no offseason program, I don't
talked about that a lot last week. Yeah, that was a big point last week.
Another thing I'm going to say right here, and you heard it here first, the Dallas Cowboys are not going to make the playoffs.
No, fuck them.
I don't think that's that bold, but okay.
After
they're
last
not going to
year,
make the playoffs.
Yeah.
My last take here is after the Packers handedly beat the Seahawks in Lambeau last year in the playoffs, how all of a sudden are the Seahawks way more favored? Of course, Russell Wilson is rated way higher than Aaron Rodgers. This is all bullshit. Fuck
Dude, they had
them.
Marshawn Lynch, the Skittles kid, off the coming in, but
Marshawn Lynch is better in Westworld
but
than he is on the fucking football field.
Yeah, he's old too. Like
that was
like,
my point. That was who they brought in. That's why that's a reason for them. I don't agree, but it's a reason for the other side.
Yeah, and to what you were saying, Omar, it's like I can see simulations working to some degree in a one-off game at the end of the season when you have a season's worth of data on that exact team with that same roster. But to try and do that in the offseason when there's so many moving pieces, like it really should hold no weight.
No. I'll add to it. Arizona will finish better than the Bears. I'll take any Bears fan. I'll take Arizona and the Packers. Both the squads will finish better. And the Browns. I'll take all three are going to finish better than the Bears.
I would agree with that sentiment.
All three.
And on that note, we're going to move into halftime. And as always, we're going to start with our unofficial sponsors. Our first one, as always, is going to be Diageo. Well, I guess not as always because we didn't do that first. But Diageo does make our favorite beer, Guinness, and our favorite shot, Rumpelmans. Matt?
Well, my favorite beer is Spotted Cow.
Miller High Life. You missed
Guinness, actually, I was
mispronounced Miller High Life.
One of the healthiest beers, but yeah, Rumpelmans is definitely the smoothest shot. I can't think of a shot I would rather have than Rumpelmans at a time where it's like, I've had a couple of beers. I don't want anything too crazy, but I want something to get the night kind of going, get this Packers game into that third quarter after half. Maybe we had an ugly first half. Maybe we had a really good first half. Hey, no matter what, Rumpelmans hits the fucking spot. So.
Plus, it freshens up your breath for when Joe tries to drunkenly hit on girls in the second half.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Totally fair. Yeah, obviously, again, this week, guys, another big shout out to Johnsonville Brats. The best brat in the game. Perfect for your pregame tailgate or whatever. If you just need some meat during quarantine, grill up some Johnsonville, baby. But this week, actually, my shout out goes to Foamation. They make these nice cowboy hats and cheese heads that you're all familiar with. But they liked our last Instagram post. They have not messaged me back, though. So Foamation, Cheesehead Factory.
Hit us up.
Yeah, they made my koozie too.
Please message us back. Thank you.
Yeah, and as always, New Glarus Spotted Cow. Like I mentioned, I'm out, so I've switched it up this week. I would love to be able to go buy some at the liquor store, but of course they don't sell it here in DC, which means the only way of getting it is driving back to Wisconsin or having our friends up at New Glarus send me a case or two. So if you want to do that, my DMs are open.
With that, let's take our halftime shot.
All righty.
Got some más tequila esta semana with the lime too. I'm official this week.
Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers, boys.
Go Pack Go and fuck the Bears.
All right, so now let's move into the second lightning round of the night, guys. Obviously, the only story related to sports right now, aside from the bullshit Aaron Rodgers rumors is the conclusion of the Last Dance Jordan documentary. Now, I know Joe will point out that he's pretty pissed that we're talking about sports that aren't the Packers, but, there aren't that many other topics going around right now. So, basically, what is your favorite part? So I will kick us off. I thought it was awesome when Jordan or Rodman was going off on his tear and like disappeared from the team and had to go. Jordan had to go find him in a hotel room and basically just be like, "All right, it's been long enough. Get your shit together. Come back." And the entire time, Carmen Electra's hidden underneath some pillows next to a couch because she didn't want Jordan seeing her.
I'll go with, I think finding a way for Jordan to get self-motivated, whether it was Isaiah Thomas not shaking his hand, oh, this guy didn't say hi to me at this restaurant, this coach, Karl Malone, like, fuck off. Like, whatever it was for Jordan to get self-motivated to come out, dude, that's a fucking slugger, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be the exact same motivation that Jordan was. But that was fucking crazy of what motivates Jordan and still got him going.
Yeah, man. He was such a badass. Like, that's the thing that really stuck out to me is how much of a badass Jordan was. I mean, he demanded the most out of everybody he played with. He never took a day off. And one of my favorite quotes that was in that entire documentary is he never asked anything of anybody around him that he didn't do himself. Not that he wouldn't do, that he didn't do. Like, that is the sign of a true leader in my mind. And like, it was one of the coolest documentaries I've ever seen in all of sports. Plus, I love cigars, and he smoked a ton of cigars in that documentary.
Joe, what do you got, man?
Gross, guys. This is gross. I haven't even watched the fucking thing. What is this thing?
Oh my God. This is why you didn't like it.
What is that?
So
What's
dumb.
the Facebook? Is that next? What's the Facebook?
No, if you're going to talk about basketball, at least talk about the Bucks. Fuck the Bulls. Fear the
Fuck the
deer,
Bucks.
baby. Fear the deer. What?
Fuck the Bucks.
Every God-fearing, respectable Packers fan knows that the better documentary out there is the Legacy series that the Packers are releasing right now. Go watch the Legacy documentary, every decade of the Packers history from goddamn August 1919 to right now.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm cutting Joe off. We're going to move into the third quarter. This is going to conclude at halftime. Crack your beers, boys.
Thank God.
Crack a beer, baby.
Oh shit! I just got beer all over my computer.
Although we should do another lightning round about the Legacy documentary.
Yeah, we definitely should. Maybe a whole quarter.
Oh, yeah. Joe would love that. Yeah.
Oh no.
We're good. We're good.
That third quarter, baby.
All right, guys, we're going to move into the third quarter here. And the third quarter question is, what player, past or, whatever, would you most like to go golf?
Past or present, Omar. It's past or present.
No, it can be anything.
Future?
Okay. It could be future.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
Whatever you want.
Whoa.
All right, so a few of us went golfing this past weekend, which is kind of what sparked this train of thought going. It was a great time. And anybody who has ever golfed with me knows that I'm not very good at golf. So I really enjoy playing. I love going out, having some beers with the boys, having a cigar. It's always a really good time. But I have a lot that I can learn. And I cannot wait for Joe's reaction to this. But the player that I would most want to go golfing with is Tony Romo.
What?
What?
He's not even a Packer.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I never specified what team.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Jesus.
What a waste of time.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, he's supposedly the best non-professional golfer athlete who plays golf. Like, I could learn a lot from Tony Romo. Plus, I out on the field. I feel like he would be really, really entertaining. And he drinks a lot of beer. So, like, why would I?
Is your second team going to be the Cowboys now,
if you want to
Omar?
drink Corona.
McCarthy went there. You going to be a fucking Cowboys fan?
All right, talking about golf.
Find your
All right,
beef with
so
Tony Romo on the
I
golf
did not
course,
realize that we were allowed to pick any player from any
Same,
team.
what
I
the
thought it was
fuck?
Packers only. So I'm going to
Same.
have a 1A and 1B.
Oh, my God.
1A.
Oh,
Yo, chill, Joe. 1A is going to be Tom Brady. So I have 18 holes of golf to tell his bitch ass
Oh my
that Aaron
God.
Rodgers is better than him.
oh yeah, I love that. Yes.
All right. And then the actual player that I would most like to golf with, right there, the golden boy, number
Nice.
5, Paul Hornung, Heisman
Love
Trophy
it.
winner from Notre Dame. He would be a blast, like just getting hammered on the course, like smoking stogies all day. Like
Yeah.
that's my guy. We're gonna just take our sweet time, and I don't care if he's a good golfer because I'm better than Omar, but I'm not an amazing golfer either. So Aaron Rodgers would just show me up and make me feel like an idiot. So Paul Hornung, I'm gonna
Nice.
bring you back and
John
get
Daly's in
drunk
the
on the
action,
course
huh?
with you for a few hours.
Yeah, Hank, you'd be like Turtle in Entourage playing against Tom Brady.
Yep.
With Paul Hornung, that's awesome. My pick is obviously Aaron again. I know he's a big golfer. I think he could help my game out a lot. But if we're going past, present, whatever, I'd have to go with Lombardi himself. If you know anything about him or have read When Pride Still Mattered, the guy was obsessed. He played at Oneida Country Club or whatever, like every chance he got. I'd love to get into his mind back into the 60s, over 18 holes. And I know you guys played over in DC this last weekend. I played out here in Arizona. My goal was to beat the temperature that day, which was 101 degrees. Unfortunately, I failed miserably. Golf is not my game. I think I'm better sticking with hunting and fishing. So,
Well, I think all these answers are ridiculous. Your guy's not alive. Omar's going with Tony Romo, not a Packer. Hank, I'm all right with you. Like, cool. All right. I don't know what's going on here, but I was contemplating between Red Hot Julius Peppers and Charles Woodson, and I'm gonna go with Red Hot Julius Peppers for a couple of reasons.
Peppers.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with, because he had some big moments for the Packers, but also had one of the biggest plays almost against the Packers when he was on the Bears, and he almost hit Aaron Rodgers as he threw the pass to Randall Cobb for us to win the division and keep going. But I think it'd be cool. I think former athletes are better than current athletes to kind of talk about their perspective of how they thought things were back then. He also played for a lot of different teams, had a big impact on us in his little amount of time that he played with us. So I'm with him.
You know what, Matt, to your point, I was going to say Charles Woodson because I think Charles Woodson is my favorite Packer. I think he might be my favorite Packer of all time just because he's the one who came in and really, like, changed the defense.
Yeah.
But
that's a quarter in itself. Future episodes.
It is a quarter in itself. But to that point, like, I don't fucking know if Charles Woodson plays golf. Like,
yeah. Same.
Yeah, I don't care who plays golf. I just
Lombardi,
get drunk on the course with him.
All right, guys, let's finish it off with Q4.
Cool. All right, boys. Quarter 4. We went through 3 quarters here. So I think all of us have actually talked about this. I think we've all actually talked about this once a week at the bar. Someone tell me if I'm wrong here.
For years.
For years, literally years, I think we all get upset one week and then pick it up the next week. So topic is, who's to blame, deserving of credit? Who do you got, Mike McCarthy versus Ted Thompson? So I'm going to go Ted Thompson. I think it's easier to blame someone who's higher up than it is lower down.
But you're blaming him.
But I'm blaming. Oh, yes, sir. I am blaming him. There are numerous sources on how senile he was, that he slept in meetings towards the end of his demise. I think that speaks to kind of how our organization structure kind of is without having a CEO. I think in any company, there is no way Ted Thompson would have had a job the last 5 years.
He would have been fired a decade ago.
Yeah,
We still have a
and
president. What are you talking about?
outside of the Packers organization, he would not have had a job. I think that's a fact with some of the personnel that he's had, some of the lackluster moves that he's done. I think just sleeping through meetings and falling asleep is enough to get him canned out of the players that he's put together. You can argue that all day. You cannot fall asleep during meetings with higher ups, players, etc. Like, that's horrible. He's the face of our team. Come on, man. That's a come on, man. Like, fuck. You can blame McCarthy for so much. And I do. I blame him for so much and give him credit. But god damn, Ted Thompson, man. Like, fuck.
Yeah, man. Ted Thompson, I think when history
Here
looks
we go.
on the Aaron Rodgers era, they're going to look at Ted Thompson and he is going to be he is going to shoulder the most blame for us not winning so many more Super Bowls. Whether it's 1, 2, 3, whatever. It doesn't matter. We should have won at least one more.
Or went to 2. We never even went to 2 with Aaron Rodgers.
Ted Thompson.
We never went.
I know, right? It's insane. And we got to the doorstep so many times and we couldn't land the kiss. We couldn't land the kiss at the doorstep to get in. Like, it's insane. Like, Ted Thompson he has a reputation of being this great talent evaluator. And I've talked about this before. He didn't hit on a draft pick in the first round from 2010 to 2016. In 2010, he took Bulaga. In 2016, he took Kenny Clark. Everything in between was a miss. Everything in the first round. Like,
to be fair, we were in the playoffs every fucking year.
Yeah, there's a lot. Aaron Rodgers was in his absolute, like, in the youth prime and his playing prime. Aaron Rodgers was carrying that team.
Yeah.
Of that, Ted Thompson only signed 2 impactful free agents in the entire 2010s. Jared Cook, who he let walk, who is a huge, big-time playmaking tight end, and Julius Peppers. Like, Jared Cook, he decided, all right, Jared Cook, whatever. He had a great catch that literally sent us to the NFC Championship. I'm going to replace him and overpay for Martellus Bennett. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And on top of that, he had multiple defensive players that really could have helped us out that he drafted that he just decided weren't worth keeping. Micah Hyde, Casey Hayward, both all pros. I mean, as soon as they left Green Bay, flourished. Ted Thompson just couldn't open up his pocketbook. He just had so much faith in his ability to draft and develop, which clearly was not working. But then he goes around and re-signs Nick Perry. Are you fucking kidding me?
Swing and a miss.
But Omar, I mean, as you mentioned, some of those guys, as soon as they left Green Bay, they flourished elsewhere. So to some degree, doesn't that kind of point out that he had guys on the team who were good, who had the talent that Mike McCarthy, as the head coach, didn't develop, didn't give a chance to flourish? I mean, obviously, Ted Thompson deserves a lot of blame, but I think that it's one of those things where you're going to live and die with the head coach. He's the one on the field making the decisions. He's in he's got the opportunity to win or lose games. I mean, you want to talk about 2 opportunities that I think he had a much bigger role in wrecking are obviously the NFC Championship game against the Seahawks, where that was a complete mishap by the player who was not coached up enough to know his damn role. Like, you are supposed to block the dude in front of you. You are not the one catching that ball. Move up and hit someone.
Yeah, but hey, it's really easy to place all the blame on that one play. Yes,
No, there were a lot of other issues throughout the game. Like, we kept kicking field goals at the 2 instead of going for touchdowns. Those are also coaching decisions. And then my other big issues, the the Cardinals game, where after we drive 90 yards in a minute to get on we tie the game, or we have an extra point to tie the game. Why don't you go for 2? I think our odds of getting a 2-point conversion are better than 50%. Our defense wasn't doing great. So then basically you're hoping that the coin flip goes your way and you can drive down the field and score. Or you need Aaron Rodgers, 1 play, 2 yards. I take Aaron Rodgers, 2 yards, 1 play. I mean, you want to look at other instances. Like, we had the personnel to keep getting us into the playoffs. Like 2011, we had one of the best teams that we've ever had, and we have home field advantage, and we just shit the bed against like the Giants. Like, what are you doing? That is pure coaching. I mean, we clearly had the personnel to win a Super Bowl because we did it the year before.
Can you imagine if we were all at the bar for that game in 2011?
Oh, I don't think we would have walked out of there alive.
That would have been nuts. That would have been nuts.
Like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, I obviously understand how Ted Thompson's got a lot of blame on him for not making more moves in certain ways and letting guys walk. But I think at the end of the day, we had the talent to get us to the playoffs and like to number 1 and 2 seeds and get us to NFC championship games. And if you have that talent, if you're one of the top 5 teams in the league consistently, then it comes down to coaching and gameplay. And he didn't get the guys.
You're on Jerry Krause's side, so all you have to do is draft Michael Jordan or Aaron Rodgers, and then it's the coach's fault from everything else because you got one player. It was all Aaron Rodgers, man. That was all fucking Aaron Rodgers. That's why.
Joe, what's your take on this?
My take, guys. I mean, well, first off, both Mike McCarthy, Ted Thompson are future Packer Hall of Famers. Ted Thompson's already in the Hall of Famer, so please tread lightly when you're discrediting Ted Thompson. He's in the Hall of Fame. I'll have you know. I posted on Instagram about that.
The Packers Hall of Fame.
I'll start with, okay, Ted Thompson, his draft picks. We all know the stories here, whatever. Aaron Rodgers, David Bakhtiari, Mike Daniels, Nick Collins, Clay Matthews, TJ Lang, Josh Sitton, Jordy Nelson. Josh Sitton and Bakhtiari and Nelson were just named best top 100 players of the decade. Casey Hayward, Kenny Clark, Greg Jennings, Devontae Adams, Jermichael Finley, Corey Lindsey, Randall Cobb, Brian Balaga, BJ Raji. The list goes on and on. These are legends. These are Green Bay legends.
They're not Green Bay legends. You're naming names.
They're legends. Unfortunately, I think a little bit of dementia did set in Ted's later years. That was unfortunate to his exit. But we're still benefiting from all his picks. Devontae and Aaron are still at their prime.
We are not benefiting from all of his.
Yeah, we are.
Are you kidding me? Where's Micah Hyde? Where's Casey Hayward?
Micah Hyde had a great career at the Packers, and he's off on another team right now. Anyways, if we move to Mike McCarthy, he is the second longest head coach in Green Bay's history to Lombardi.
Because we had Aaron Rodgers.
8 seasons in a row.
Because we had Aaron Rodgers.
Because we had Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Street named after him in Green Bay, okay? Because that's what we fucking
had
did.
Aaron Rodgers.
We name streets after people that win Super Bowls. That's Mike McCarthy's.
Because of Aaron Rodgers.
I still don't like the way that we fired him. I think if we're going the blame route, I'm going with Hank. I agree with Hank. It's the coach. We made it to 2 NFC championships. We came so close deep in the playoffs. We had the team. I think we had the team.
Did we? All right, so Joe, in the 2016 NFC championship, we were going against the highest scoring offense in the league, and our defensive backs were Kentrell Bryce and Lindsey Pipkins.
Oh, my man, Pipkins!
That is who Ted Thompson gave Mike McCarthy to work with.
Is that not Darius Gunter, too?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Gunter. Gunter. I forgot about Gunter.
We had a lot of injuries that year, too, in the backfield. I will agree. If we're blaming anyone, I'm going coach because I agree with Hank. It comes down to situational awareness. You talk about 2014, whatever. You talk about the game against the Cardinals. We had the team. We just weren't aggressive enough. It comes down to a couple plays. Regardless, I don't agree with any of you guys with the blame game. I'm giving credit to both of them. Like I said, Mike McCarthy's got a fucking street named after him. Ted Thompson.
If it was up to you, Joe, McCarthy would still be our fucking coach.
Yeah. This is actually the first time I've actually heard Joe kind of argue for a more aggressive style. This is crazy.
No, I mean, I do think that you guys are a little overly critical. I think that obviously I wish we would have done better, but it's not like tons of teams are out there winning multiple Super Bowls. I think everyone just assumes that New England should be the standard, but that's the exception. And I definitely think that we should.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think that we should have won more than we did in the playoffs.
We never even got there, though. We never even got there. We never even got to 2.
Okay, we talk about the Packers.
Would that have mattered? Would you be happier if we got to 1 more and lost in it? No,
at least
you wouldn't give it
there.
No,
at least
no, you wouldn't.
There.
No, you're using that as an arbitrary
on
standard.
Tom Brady, he's gotten there and won.
If we had gotten there and lost, you would have then been arguing we didn't even win it. It doesn't count. So no, I'm sorry. Like, you can't just make up an arbitrary standard. It's Super Bowl or bust. And obviously I wish we would have won more during the McCarthy era, but we didn't. And that's, unfortunately, that is the normal for organizations, for quarterbacks. Like, they don't typically win a lot. Like, Tom Brady is the exception.
Let's keep this going on another week. We ain't done with this one.
Yeah, this one's going to be going for a long time.
We'll toss Dom Capers into the mix and shit'll get real weird.
I don't agree. Joe, you're crazy.
I'll take us out.
He lost to the Cardinals at fucking home. Just throw that out there. Fire his fucking ass. He lost to the Cardinals at home. He had a playoff team.
That's not how we do business in Green Bay. But anyways, everyone grab their beers, finish them up. Since I have the liberty of taking us home, I'll say that I think that Ted Thompson and Mike McCarthy, they set the standard again of excellence in Green Bay. Yes, Favre was a winning quarterback, and we did well, and we had standards of winning championships with Lombardi. But 8 seasons in the playoffs, Ron Wolf, to Ted Thompson, to Mike McCarthy.
You better wrap this shit up, man, or I'm going to come at you. Like, wrap this fucking shit up right now.
You're talking about mediocrity right now.
Wrap it fucking up. I'm going to come at you here.
We all expect Super Bowl or bust, like Hank said, and that was a standard set by those guys that Goody and Matt LaFleur have to live up to now. That's all I'll say. Anyways, everyone finish their beers.
Fucking end it. Yep.
Everyone stick with us through our off-season coverage over there in D.C., over here to Arizona. We need y'all to share the podcast. Please subscribe. Leave us a review. Go follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We are at Sharp Cheddar GB. As always, folks, the strength of the team is related to the cheddar. So stay sharp and go Pack.
Go.